B'Shem Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach. Welcome everyone to our weekly shiur of the Zera Shimshon on the Parashat. Tonight we are doing Parashat Vayera, Ot Aleph, the first ma'amar of the Zera Shimshon. May this shiur is dedicated first of all in Leilui Nishmat Harav Shimshon Chaim ben Nachman Michael Zecher Tzadik v'Chadush Livracha. May his promise that he made for those that spread his Torah and learn his Torah come true for all of us. Amen keni ratzon. It should be for the refuah shelema of kol chole am Yisrael, especially Havachaya bat Neda, Revital Chaya bat Giladi Simcha, Yonatan Rafael ben Giladi Simcha, Yosef ben Monavar, and also for the Yeshua of Elnatan ben Rosita. Okay, once again we mention, those of you that listen to these shiurim, you've made nedavot, nedarim, that Bezrat Hashem in the zechut of the shiur, you'd like to see certain things come true for you. If those things did happen, or if you have stories of other things, you can share them with us. It would be amazing. If you'd like us to share them, please mention that you like us to share them. Email address for that is zerashimshonstory@gmail.com. That's zerashimshonstory@gmail.com. So the Zera Shimshon says as follows. The pasuk says, Vayera elav Hashem. Hashem in this week's parasha appears to Avraham Avinu. Rashi, the commentator, comments there that HaKadosh Baruch Hu appeared to Avraham Avinu kedei lebagger et hacholeh, in order to visit the sick. How was Avraham Avinu sick per se? Because he just had a Brit Milah. And Hashem was visiting Avraham Avinu after his Brit Milah. So there Rashi brings down the famous Rami Bar Chama. Amar Rami Bar Chama says, Yom Shelishi lemilato haya. It was the third day to Avraham Avinu's Brit Milah. Uva HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu had come to visit him and, levaker et hacholeh, to visit the sick. Avraham Avinu was how old when he got his Brit Milah? 99 years old. So, just even in that time, getting a Brit Milah at 99 was no joke. Right? Even for that time, if we want to say, oh, people were stronger, yes, but 99 years old, Brit Milah, not a joke. So he says, Kvar tzavchu bo kama'ed kama'eh. Many Mefarshim have discussed this first pasuk of this week's parasha. Many different questions on this first pasuk. How do we know it was the third day? Why the third day? All these types of questions. Right? My By Rabbi Sakhai. What does Rabbi Sakhai really want to say here? Rabbi Sakhai comes, Rashi brings him, Rabbi Sakhai comes and says it was the third day of Brit Milah of Avraham Avinu and Hashem had come to visit him. He says, what is Rabbi Sakhai trying to come and teach us? The fact that he's telling us it was the third day of Avraham Avinu's Brit Milah. How does he know that this was actually the third day and it wasn't another day after the Brit Milah? Also, they ask, how what connection does the words of Rabbi Sakhai have with the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu came on the third day to the fact that Rashi says, B'tchila levaker et hacholeh. Rashi says that Hashem had come to visit the sick. What does that have to do with the fact that it was the third day of Avraham Avinu's Brit Milah? Right? So basically to say that because HaKadosh Baruch Hu had come to visit Avraham Avinu, Rabbi Sakhai says, it must be it was the third day. Why should that be? Why is it the third day? What? So we just asked that, genius.
I'm asking you. You can answer.
I know, so what? No, usually the way the class works is that we ask questions and then we leave you to go home. That's how it works. We like keeping, that's what a shiur is, right? we just pack you full of questions and bid you good night.
Yeah.
You haven't been here for a while.
Yeah, I haven't been here for a while.
Welcome back.
I'm still jet lagged, give me a break.
Okay, blame the jet lag. ועוד. ועוד יש לדקדק. You have to also understand. איך יתקשר בסוף הפסוק והוא יושב פתח האוהל כחום היום. The pasuk continues and it says Vayera alav Hashem be'elonei mamre. Hashem appeared to Avraham Avinu in Elonei Mamre, in this place, Elonei Mamre. Vehu yoshev petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. And Avraham Avinu was sitting by the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day, as the day was hot. Right? So he says, how is this connected to the beginning of the pasuk and what we're saying? How is the fact that Avraham Avinu was sitting in the heat of the day connected to the fact that it was his third day of Brit Milah and connected to the fact that Hashem was coming to visit him? How do these things connect to each other? Why are they said together? Do you understand? Okay. Yes. No, we have to speak Hebrew for them now. Ata mevin?
Ani mevin.
Ah, ata mevin. Okay, very good. All right, calm down now, Yehuda. Venire letaretz. So he begins the gradual answering of these questions. Telling you, we're going to learn a secret about Avodat Hashem today. I'm telling you, you're going to go home buzzed with spirituality. Okay? This is going to give you such a... Is buzzed the wrong word for spirituality? Never. It's perfect. Okay, there's nothing better than being high on Torah. Crazy.
How about drunk?
Now I'm telling you. Go to yeshiva on Purim before the alcohol comes out. Everyone's crazy. Tired, love of Torah. So the teretz is this. The Rabbi Bar Chama understood that there was a question here. He felt something uneasy about something. דמאי שנה שהפקיד הקדוש ברוך הוא לבקר את אברהם כדי לרפאותו. Basically, why did Hashem need to come to visit Abraham to give him a refuah shlema, to heal him? Why? Why did Hashem need to do that? You're asking yourselves, why not? He needed healing, right? Okay, listen to this. And he says, "V'gam shalach lo Rafael rapoto." Not only that, but Hashem also sent Rafael to give a refuah shlema to Avraham Avinu. Rafael is the ministering angel of healing. V'lo hikpid lerapoto gam kol yelidei beito shenimlu ito. Says, however, you don't see that Hashem sent Rafael or he himself came to give a refuah shlema, healing to the rest of his family, or to the rest of Avraham Avinu's household. You might ask, how so? Simple, because the pasuk says, "V'chol asher beto, v'chol anshe beto yelidei bayit u'michne kesef me'et ben nechar nimolu ito." Everybody, every male in Avraham Avinu's household had a brit milah at the same time. Right? That's the pasuk clearly says. Everyone got a brit milah. So, is there discrimination going on here? Avraham Avinu is getting like personal treatment from Hashem and everybody else isn't? Why doesn't the pasuk say that Rafael came to give a refuah shlema to all of Avraham Avinu's household and Abraham? Or why don't we say in Rashi that Hashem had come to visit Avraham, who was sick, and lerapoto, and to give him a refuah shlema and the rest of his household? Yishmael, Eliezer, everybody else. Why not? Makes sense, no? Some of you are like, who cares? Who needs them? But no, we can't. We have to understand why it's not happening. Why don't we find in the words of our rabbis, we don't even find a hint in the books of Chazal, in the books of Chachamim, about the other people also being healed with Avraham Avinu. We don't even find a hint to it. As if like we're supposed to know something and we don't. What happened to them? Were they just left to suffer for the rest of like weeks until they were healed on their own? What's the dealio? Right? But he say, however, Amru, it has been said. Raphael came lerapot et Avraham, vetulo. Raphael came only to give healing to Avraham and nobody else. Why? And they didn't say they came also to give refuah for the rest of the household. Elavadai tzarich lomar, because what? Because you need to know and you need to say, Yelidei beto lo hayu tzrichim lerefuah. The rest of the household did not need a refuah. They were fine. They were healed. They didn't need a refuah. Because if they did, why would Hashem discriminate? Why would Raphael, go heal Abraham, let the rest suffer? Why? These are the first people that have listened to your commandment to get a Brit Milah. Why would Hashem would not do that? So it must be that they already were healed. How? Hatam shelot tzrichim. The reason they did not need this, are y'all ready for this? Mishum de'itam. There is a braita that says in Baba Batra Perekama, in the first perek of Baba Batra, Tet Zayin Amud Bet. Gemara says, the Talmud says, page 17, second side of the page. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Omer, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai says, Margalit Tova Haita Teluya Betzavaro Shel Avraham. There was a gem that was hanging around Avraham Avinu's neck. He had a special gem. Shekol chole sheroeh otah miyat mitrapeh. Any sick person would see it, instantly would be healed.
Diamond?
No, diamond is only healing for women, not men. I'm kidding. It wasn't a diamond, it was a type of a stone. Right? It was a type of a stone that says, by the way, it's a very true thing. No, diamonds do work on emotional healing for sure. Men have to wrap their heads around that. That you want to make friends. You want your wife to, if you've been having issues or whatever it is, jewelry helps. It does help. It is what it is. You have to understand. Men have to understand that it shows affection and it shows worth. It shows value. Not all women are the same, obviously. Some women don't care for jewelry or diamonds or whatever it is, right? But most women, it shows, it's the thought that counts, obviously. But most women, it does help. It does help. You could take that with whatever you want. Men are thinking, Rabbi, you're not helping us.
I'm thinking, you're right. Some girls like cars, some girls like shopping.
Right. So some girls are going even further. Like, you're right, Rabbi, not all girls are the same. Some girls like cars, some girls like shop. Yes. Thank you for that.
Cars are more expensive than diamonds now.
That's true.
So, now there is a Rashba, actually, one of the commentaries that says, just in addition to this, there's a commentary, the Rashba, and I think the Maharsha also, they say that what it means that Avraham Avinu had this margalit, had this stone around his neck. Sometimes this type of terminology is not used to be taken technically. When it says margalit tova ya al tzavaro shel, when it says there was a gem around the neck of so-and-so, it sometimes is used to not actually mean technically a gem. It's used to also mean that this person had a secret. Oh, he's got it's like saying he's got something up his sleeve. You understand? It's a metaphor. Thank you. It's like saying he's got something up his sleeve. But if I say it's a simile. Brings back memories. So when it says Avraham Avinu had a gem around his neck, the Maharsha and the Rashba hold that it wasn't really a stone. Avraham Avinu had certain knowledge about healing powers of certain things, certain segulot. He would tell people, oh, this happened, do this and this, that and that, and you'll be fine.
He made amulets too.
Or amulets. It could be that he made amulets. So he had these chokhmot. And it says that all those chokhmot he took with him after he passed away. Right? Because what it it doesn't say that. It says he took it with him after he passed away. Mistama, I would feel the reason for that is anybody that gets to his level will figure them out. Like others did. There were others that did.
What was it, the Sefer Yetzirah? That type of knowledge?
That type of knowledge, right. If you know Sefer Yetzirah, if you know how a human being is created, it's like knowing how a building is built. So you have a falter in the building, you are the one who drew the blueprints of that building, you know instantly, here's what I need to do to fix it. Right?
That knowledge, why didn't he fix himself with it?
Oh! Ariel finally asked the question, which we're going to ask. Hazaku Baruch, you can go home. No, seriously, get up and leave now. So now, Avram Avinu had this secret, whether it was a knowledge or it was actually a stone. The reason why I shared with you guys the Maharsha and the Rashba, and the fact that the simpler meaning of it actually being a gem is not because it couldn't be a gem. There are gems that do have sglot. There are gems that do have powers of refu'ah and other things. There are in the world. So,
you say diamond.
no. Not diamond. For instance,
No, I've asked you this before. I thought you can use it for certain energy like purposes, like not to look at it as
there are certain stones and gems in the world that have certain powers. Period. There was the Ben Ish Chai, I think, brings a story about there was a
We had a class about this.
I don't remember. Oh, those gems. Right. Ben Ish Chai brings a story of a family that had this stone, and they go to this sheikh or something, and he offers millions upon millions for this stone, and they didn't know why he wants to pay so much for it. They didn't know why, right? But they didn't feel it's worth that much. So I don't know. I don't remember what happens. They were going someplace, and there was in the caravan there was a baby that was very, very sick. And he was crying, and it was like the baby was about to go. That type, something like that. So the baby sees this gem, and he's kind of calming down, and these couple of Jewish guys, they feel bad, so they go, let him hold it. They go on the stone, he's sitting right there, they let him hold it, and all of his, baby's feeling better and better, and he's fine. Right? Miracle, whatever. They take the gem back, and they go to this sheikh to sell the gem. Sheikh sees the gem and he says, this is worthless. You think I'm a fool? They go, what do you mean? It's the stone you wanted. He goes, this is not the stone I wanted. You used it. And then they find out that the stone had healing powers. And it was used on another person. So there are stones, like, I was in Israel once. I was in Israel a few years back. And the bus driver, it was crazy. The bus driver had this crystal necklace around his neck. And I just commented, I'm like, nice crystal, right? And then he goes, you want to see what this is? And I'm what you would call a Sephardi Litvak, okay? I'm Sephardi to the core, but I have a lot of Litvish, it's like, hello, watch out, like my Kabbalah class on Tuesdays, right? That's where that comes from. So I go, I was a little like thing, whatever. He put it around my neck, right? So, before that, he asked me to stand on one foot and open my arms like this to my sides.
on the bus.
No, it was off the bus. No questions, or you go home. He's like, we were outside, and he's like, stand on one foot, put your arms out to your sides. I stand on one foot, and he would push down on one arm. Obviously, you fall over to your side because you're standing on one foot. He goes, stay as strong as you can. Don't let me falter your position. So I'm standing as much as I could, and then he would just push down, or would fall, right? Or he's like, hold your hands like this, lock them in front of you, and I will push down. Don't fall when you're standing on one foot. And I would try as much as I could. Right? Then he puts this necklace around my neck. I kid you not. I can't make this stuff up, right? I couldn't fall. I couldn't even make myself fall.
Was it heavy?
What?
No.
What? No. It was just a little piece of glass. Little piece of glass. He would push me. I was just like, it's like, and then, so he's like, it's a crystal that gives balance. Most people like that need it, or like they give it to the elderly so that they don't fall, yada yada. And it has these, I don't know what these things mean. You know what I mean? I don't know. What I do know is that that Chachamim tell us, according to one opinion, that Avraham Avinu had a gem that had healing powers. These things do exist. We know from the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. We had that class, right? Definitely do exist. All right. Vehine, hikshu b'tosafot. So the Tosafot ask, this is a side question. Just a side question. Relax. Veha bimei Avraham akati lo haya choli ba'olam. Tosafot ask on the side, hey, 1 second, back up please. In the time of Avraham, there was no sickness. And it's true. There was no sickness in the time of Avraham Avinu. People didn't get sick. How did people die? Sneeze. Gesundheit. What?
Sneeze?
Have you ever thought to yourself why, no matter where you are in the world, if you sneeze, they'll say bless you in whatever language? Why? So basically, in the time of Avraham Avinu, people would die from a sneeze. A person would sneeze once in their life. That was it. There was no sickness in the world. In the time of Avraham Avinu, until Yaakov Avinu, until Jacob, there was no sickness in the world. When the time would come for a person to go, they would just sneeze, the neshama would come out the same way it had gone into the body, from the nostrils, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says, Vaypach be'apav nishmat chayim. Hashem blew into Adam's nostrils a neshama, a life-giving neshama, and in the same way it would come out of the body, through the nose. They would actually sneeze. So since then, it became, after Yaakov Avinu, that anyone that would sneeze, they would say, bless you, or lehaim, or labriut, or to health. It's something to do with health and long life anywhere in the world. Unless people are very rude. Okay? So he's saying, hold on a second, there was no sickness in the world. Right? So what are we talking about? That Avraham Avinu had this gem that had, Tosafot is asking a side question, that had this gem that anyone that was sick or whatever it is. So the Tosafot answer very basic, that yes, there was no sickness in the world, but if anyone had a wound or an injury, they would need healing, and that's what Avraham Avinu had the secrets for, right? It wasn't, people didn't have COVID in the time of Avraham Avinu. There was no flus or whatever, but they did have injuries. They were hunting injuries or whatever it was, or fighting with their wife. Big mistake, right? So the guy would come and be like, what happened? I fell downstairs. You don't have stairs. We didn't even invent stairs yet. Right? Make a better lie. All right. ובעל עמודי השבעה הוסיף להחשות איך היה אברהם רופא ולא לא. So now coming to your question. So that Tosafot's question we answered already. It was just a side question. So now, the Baal Amudei HaShiva asks, איך היה אברהם רופא? How could it be that Avraham was a rofeh for others ולא לא, and not for himself? Which you ask, okay, so he has this margalit, he has this gem, whether it's information or it's an actual gemstone. Why didn't he look at it himself? Right? Or why didn't he use his knowledge himself to heal himself?
Could a doctor heal themselves?
Could a doctor heal? It's pills, bro. It's like antibiotics. Does he need a doctor to put it in his mouth?
When practicing magic, you can't use it on yourself.
Right. When practicing magic, you can't use it on yourself. Only Avraham was not using magic. Lama lo histakel b'margalia tova sha'ayta lo b'tzavaro. Why didn't Avraham Avinu himself look at this margalit, in this gemstone that was hanging on his neck? Saval tzaruk bechinam. So he was literally going through pain for no reason. Why did he do that to himself? Oldidan lo qashamidis. He says it's not a question though. This question doesn't start for us. Why? Yes. Everybody else in his household was healed instantly by looking at this gem. Right? They were fine. O bayom rishon, o bayom sheni. Whether it was on the first day of their Brit Milah, second day of their Brit Milah, it worked for them. Lefi shenistakilu b'margalit v'savaro, because they looked at this margalit, this gemstone on his neck. Aval Avraham atzmo, but Avraham Avinu himself, lo ratza leistakel ba, he did not want to use it. Why? Kedeh shitztar machmat hamilah, because he wanted to go through the pain of Brit Milah, ulqabel yoter sachar, and accept upon himself more reward. Dilfum tzara agra, because there's a terminology used in Pirkei Avot, lefum tzara agra. The harder the mitzvah, the greater the reward. But Rabbi, it's such a challenge for me. You don't understand. I'm a food guy. I see food, I have to eat it. Like kosher is just such a difficult thing for me to do. Do you know how much sachar that person gets every single time they make a choice to eat kosher? It's incredible. It's not a sachar that I get for eating kosher. No, I wouldn't even know the first thing about not eating kosher. It's like, we live on Pico. I'd have to go too far to find non-kosher. Yeah, it'll be a challenge, kind of, But somebody that was raised with McDonald's and didn't mean it in any way. But now that I see, mamash, the schar that a person like that gets. Imagine, they know what that kind of a burger tastes like. They know what that kind of a burrito, taco, whatever it is, tastes like. We don't. Person that keeps kosher, they don't. Right? Lefum tzara agra. The more the challenge, the greater the schar. And it's not about food either. It's not just about food. Each Jew, each person has their own challenges. We all have our own challenges. What's hard for me is not hard for you. Right? What's difficult for you, it could be nothing for me. I could look at you and be like, seriously, Shabbat? I could turn to someone and be like, Shabbat. Maybe Shabbat is not a great example, because Shabbat mamash is amazing as long as you know how to experience it. Right? But someone that has not, and they have a routine. Shabbat for me is Shabbat for me is a day at the beach, and then driving to grandma's, and and it doesn't have to be bad things. You know what I mean? But that's for some people that might have become Shabbat. So for them to actually have Shabbat where they can't go to grandma's house and they have to walk to everywhere and they can't go to the mall, whatever, is a challenge. So when that kind of a person says, you know what? Shabbat Kodesh, wow, that sachar is through the roof. Lefum tzara agra. The more a person experiences a challenge for a mitzvah that they're doing, the bigger the sachar, the huger the sachar. This, guys, I cannot say this enough. Because we're living in a world where we want everything easy, because everything has become easy. When was the last time anyone in this room went shopping for what you needed? Like outside or Amazon?
Costco.
Oh, Costco. Costco is not shopping. Costco is like food. Costco is but you need clothes, cologne, I don't know, you need a nightlight or whatever it is, literally Amazon. Right? It's Amazon, right? So everything has become so easy. So because everything has become so easy for us, we want everything to be easy. So why should things be hard? There's a pill that you take before Yom Kippur. Evidently, it's supposed to help you be satiated the entire Yom Kippur. I can't make this stuff up. Right? It's called kalisom, easy fast. Right? I don't know how they work. I don't know if they work. I researched it. Some people said it was amazing. Some people were like, it was worse. But there are such things, because we tend to be, some people actually need it, right? But in every aspect of our lives, we want to look for the easy way out. But sometimes the easy way out does not have the amount of reward that is deserved for that thing that we're doing, right? You can't gain muscle by picking up 5-pounders for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way, right? You want to climb a mountain. You got to really start with the hills and start going on an up climb, not downhill. Someone had a question?
I was just going to add, because I remember you told me a while back, a lot of people have a concern, like when they're working on themselves religiously, there's always that frustration of family or friends like criticizing them, like kind of embarrassing them and, saying like, why do you keep Shabbat, like this and that, and like kind of putting them down. And even through that, even through that struggle, aren't you elevated?
100%.
Yeah.
Any challenge a person has because they are trying to do the mitzvot correctly, that adds to the tzara. That's the tzar, that's the hardship, right? Lefum tzara agra. You have hardship trying to do that mitzvah, the bigger the sachar. If it's not easy, just think ahead, think future. You're getting schar for it, right? It's hard for us to close our mouth, not to say lashon hara, when it's hard for us. We close our mouth in those moments, and it's such juicy information, right? It's like you're about to explode. Think lefum tzara agra. Oh, if I could only say this information, but I'm not gonna. Imagine what sachar I'm gonna get, right? Ve'od. So now that's one. Ve'od lefi shemitzvah zo, and also because this mitzvah of Brit Milah, hi achat ma'asara nisyonot shelo. This was one of the 10 tests of Avraham Avinu. 99 years old, and he had to do it on himself. If that's not a test, I don't know what is. It's very painful, right? And the risks involved, as an old man, so to speak. So because this was one of his 10 tests, so therefore, Im haya mitrape miyad, if Avraham Avinu would come and heal himself quickly, lo haya ze nechshav lenisayon. It wouldn't be considered a test anymore, right? What kind of a test is that? He passed with flying colors, like, okay, he gave himself a Brit Milah and then he healed himself. That's not a test anymore. So he felt he didn't want to heal himself because he's supposed to go through this test. Shayu omrim ha'olam, because the world would say, Sha'atam, shenidrat Avraham letzivu yamakom shel hamilah. You know why Avraham Avinu agreed to give himself a Brit Milah? Lefi shayodea sheyesh biyado le'arpot. Because he knows he can heal himself. So what's the big deal? He cut himself and he healed himself. Whoop-de-doo. Right? What big deal? He expects everybody else to do the same? I don't think anyone else is going to do that. Because not everybody else has the information like Avraham Avinu does about healing. Right? Because of this, he wanted to make a Kiddush Hashem. He wanted to make a Kiddush Hashem, so he didn't want to look at the stone. He wanted to wait in the pain of this makkah, this wound that he had, to show the entire world of that time that he has done the Brit Milah and he's taking the pain with love. And he's happy that he's done the mitzvah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Isn't that what level you have to be on? Avraham Avinu level. This is like patriarch level stuff. Because of this, listen to this, guys. You want to be zocheh for Hashem to literally hold your hand? This is the secret. Hashem gave Avraham Avinu measure for measure. Hashem said, you showed me your love personally, I'm going to show you my love personally. I'm going to come and visit you. How do you get Hashem to come and visit echoleh, to visit a sick person? Hashem says, you accepted this tzara, accept this hardship, this test with love, I'm going to give you love. And therefore Hashem came and said, I'm going to heal you personally. Because you might ask, he already sent Raphael. What is Hashem coming for? Hashem said, I need to come, I want to come myself and give you a refuah. Because it's midah keneget midah. You've shown me love with no measurement. I'm going to show you the same amount of love. V'zehu, and this is why it says Vayera elav Hashem. Hashem appeared to him. Levaker et hacholeh. That's why Rashi says to come visit the sick. As Rami Bar Chama said, Shezeh habikur al korchach tzarich lomar shaya bayom hashelishi. Now we understand why Rami Bar Chama had to say it's the third day. This had to be the third day. Why? Shar'im haya HaKadosh Baruch Hu merapeo. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would heal Avraham Avinu on the second day, bayom hasheni, lo hayu yod'im kol ha'olam shenedarpa beyado shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The world would not know what happened. They would be like, oh, he healed himself. Because he just got the brit yesterday and today he healed himself. He's done. There would be no Kiddush Hashem here. It's no test. Avraham Avinu had the secret. Right? Ela hayu omrim, they would say, Nistakel ba'even. Avraham Avinu looked at his own stone and he healed himself. Lefi shaya katz betzara milah. Now, however, when everybody else saw that everyone else in his household are healed, Avraham Avinu is not healed yet, and he's still in pain, they realized, he's not looking at the stone. And on the third day, when it got really bad, HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and healed him. Now, even though they saw that on the first day of his Brit Milah, he did not look at this gem, because he wasn't healed then, because that doesn't mean anything. Because why? They can say, said, people wouldn't have a question as to why he didn't get healed the first day. You know why? He said, okay, the first day he didn't get healed with his own stone because he was busy giving a Brit Milah to everyone else in his home. So he was busy on the first day. On the second day, he healed himself. That's why it had to be the third day. So that no one would have a doubt here that Avraham Avinu did not use any of his own powers.
But one could also say that, one could say that the pain was so unbearable, so he just healed himself.
We'll get to it. Ariel, please, stop with the nonsense questions. Okay? I'm kidding. We're going to get to that also. All right. He's killing me, this guy. Could I have a class? I'm kidding.
Can't help it.
Tuesday nights, Kabbalah. And because of this, I said Tuesday night's Kabbalah class in another shir that I was giving. Everyone looked at me like thinking about, like I could see in their faces that they were trying to find information about the Tuesday night. So I said, no, it's a joke because I don't have a class on Tuesday nights. So I always, they're like, okay. Yep. And because of this, Himtin HaKadosh Baruch Hu lavo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited to come and visit Abraham, Davka bayom hashelishi, until the third day especially, kedei sheyed'u hakol, so that everyone would know she'Avraham Avinu sovel tzara milah me'ahava. So people would recognize that Avraham Avinu was really taking the pain with love and simcha. And he did not use his gemstone. So it says, ve'od, the fact that we said, another thing we said in connection in that pasuk, we said, it says, V'hu yoshev petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. Avraham Avinu was sitting at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day. And we said, what connection does this have to Rami Bar Chama? What connection does this have in this pasuk? Why do I have to know that he's sitting at the entrance of his home in the heat of the day? Guests, right? As we learned when we were growing up, he was trying to get guests. But the Torah does not need to say kechom hayom. All right. So the Mefarshim come and say Hashem actually made the day extra hot, so guests won't come and bother him. But we still have to understand, why is he sitting in the heat of the day? The Torah is saying he was sitting in the heat of the day. Listen to this, please. Shezeh, the fact that Avraham Avinu was sitting outside of his tent in the sun, it's so beautiful. I'm telling you, Torah is so gorgeous. It's just incredible. Mochiach she'ad rabba, because this shows the exact opposite of what anyone would think. What did we say people would be thinking? Maybe that maybe Avraham Avinu used the gemstone. Maybe he healed himself. The fact that he was sitting outside in the sun showed that he did not. Why? Hayam ishtadel leitrapot me'at bederech hateva. Avraham Avinu was showing that he's trying to heal little by little, b'derech teva, with natural sources. Kemo she'amru rabotenu, as our chachamim tell us in many different locations. The Gemara talks about it. There's a Midrash talk about it. I think the Gemara, it's either in Nedarim or in Ketubot that discusses this. I think it's Ketubot. I'm pretty sure it's Ketubot. Hada Amra Shimsha Ma'ale Lemaka. The sun is good for healing wounds and healing a person. Sunlight. We call it vitamin D. So today it's known as vitamin D. The Gemara simply says, yes, the Gemara actually says a person that needs healing should go and actually the way the Gemara says, he says, you see those fibers coming out of your window. You know how when your window's closed and the sun's coming in, you see fibers flying in the sun? It says, go in that sunlight and sit there. That's the Gemara. That's what the Gemara says. Because the sun, when the sun is hot in the heat of the day, it has healing powers. That's vitamin D for you. Now, we didn't know it was called vitamin D. Maybe we didn't know because there was no D or E or A. It's just the healing powers of the sun. So it's saying Avraham Avinu was showing that he did not heal himself. Why? Because he was trying to heal himself naturally. He wasn't using a gemstone, nothing. It was just sunlight, which evidently in those days was common knowledge. How smart do you have to be for vitamin D 4,000 years ago to be common knowledge? Right? And that's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu appears to Avraham Avinu on his third day when he's in pain and he's trying to use sunlight for healing. When everyone was realizing, wow, Avraham Avinu is in pain. He's sitting out in the sun because he can't move. Right? That's when Avraham Avinu has the zchut of HaKadosh Baruch Hu appearing to him. Vashtat Shapir. Now everything fits. Shemucha kedivrei Rabbi Marchama sheyom shelishi lemilato haya. Now we understand why Rabbi Marchama said that it was the third day of his Brit Milah. Mipnei shebeyamim shelefanav lo haya HaKadosh Baruch Hu lerapoto sheim ken hayu ha'olam omrim. The days before, if Hashem would come and heal him, people would have said what? It was the stones. Hazaku Baruch. V'shayach Shapir lemay de'amar midchila. Now the fact that we said that it was the third day of his Brit Milah. Lemay de'amar midchila im tchila divrei Rashi sheba HaKadosh Baruch Hu levaker et hacholeh dechula chada miltai. Okay, so Rashi matches now that the fact that he says Hashem came to visit the sick and it was his third day. It all matches. He was visiting the sick because it was his third day. Third day is the worst. And he was sitting in the sun to be healed because it was the most painful day. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu was coming to visit him. Uma'ata. And then we can't ask, now that we know Hashem came to visit him on the third day, we can't ask anymore, maybe it was the fourth day, maybe it was the fifth day. Because we know that once the third day of the Milah passes, danger has already ceased to exist. Because we have in halakha also, in the olden days, this is no longer recommended today because body has changed. We know this for a fact. But in the old times, right, it was the baby had to be bathed in hot water in the first few days of the Brit Milah. Now we don't get it wet, we have to put antibiotics on it and so on and so forth, right? And it says that those days, even if it fell on Shabbat, within those 3 days, first day, second day, third day, it fell on Shabbat, they would bathe the baby in hot water because it was sakanat nefashot. It was a danger to the baby's life. So they would actually heat water and bathe the baby, right? To clean germs, yes, the baby needed the heat, right? Nowadays, it's no longer like that, right? However, the halakha says, once the third day would pass, you no longer have the right to break Shabbat to bathe the baby in hot water. Why? Because after the third day, he'll be fine. If he passed the third day, he's fine. Because the third day is the worst. We know that it's the worst. Right? Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not have come on the fourth or fifth day, because that would be meaningless. That's not when Avraham Avinu is really needing their refuah. After the third day, he would naturally be healing already. So no one would ever question it. Third day was the best day, that people would really know that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to heal Abraham, because he didn't heal himself, because he wanted to take the pain, because he wanted to do the mitzvah, lehum tzara agra. A little bit more. And you can't say, even on the third day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu came, people could still say, maybe on the third day the pain got bad enough. I can't believe no one thought about this question. I'm just saying, it's a very simple question. Right? Ariel. You should have at least come up with this question. It's very it's right there. I'm kidding. I was bullied as a child a lot. Okay? I got this job so I can bully other people. It's a part,
Welcome to the club, Ariel.
So it says, why the third day? How does the third day show that HaKadosh Baruch Hu healed him? Maybe people will say that on the third day, right? It got so bad, he healed himself finally. He gave in, he caved, and he used the gemstone and he healed himself on the third day. Why can't we say that? We could still say that. So how are people going to know Avraham Avinu never used the gemstone because he wanted to accept this nisayon, this test, be'ahava, with love?
Because he used it on everyone else, right? So it was out of powers?
No. This gemstone didn't run out of powers. Good try, though. Good try. שאברהם נתרבה מעצמו בהסתכלותו באבן טובה. Right. והדלו נתרבה ביום השני משום... Okay, 1 second. ואם כן שלא היה לו הקדוש ברוך הוא להתגלות עליו בשביל הרבותו, אלא ביום הרביעי. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so it says, Mishum Hachi, because of this, Samich levehu yoshev petach ha'ol kechom hayom. That's another way you answer the question. He was sitting in the sunlight in the heat of the day. Why? Because you learn from here that Avraham Avinu was trying to be healed by sunlight, as we said before. The fact that on the third day he's sitting in the sunlight shows that he did not use the gem on the third day. That's why Kadosh Baruch Hu came on the third day. So we really answered the question already. The fact that Avraham Avinu was sitting in the sunlight on the third day meant that he did not use the gemstone. He was trying to be healed naturally. Many years ago, not too many years ago, but some years ago, Rav Steinemann was having a shiur klali for his yeshiva. Rav Steinemann was a Rosh Yeshiva, very great Rav. And he brought up something very interesting in the shiur. There is a midrash that talks about the meeting of Avraham Avinu with the angels that he thought were, desert men or, And it's discussed over there where it says, for instance, it says, because, I don't remember outside very well, it says, because he said, Yukach na me'at mayim, he said to them, please take a little water. Bnei Israel were zocheh to the Be'er HaMiryam. Be'er HaMishel Miriam. The well of Miriam and Neviah. The fact that he said, Yukach, he said, please take. The pasuk in the Torah says, by Korban Pesach, that each family would take for themselves Korban Pesach. Each family and a Korban Pesach would take. The same word is used. And it says, the fact that it says, he stood on top of them while they were eating under a tree. Bnei Israel were zocheh to Sukkot, and the Ananei HaKavod. And so on and so forth. So it comes out through the meeting of Avraham Avinu with these angels right? We got Ananei Kavod, we got the holiday of Sukkot, we got Korban Pesach, which is Pesach, we got Be'era Shel Miriam, we got a whole lot of stuff in the Zechut of Avraham Avinu in the meeting serving these angels, which is incredible. All from one place. So the question rises. The Mefarshim tell us in many, many different places that Avraham Avinu set up like motel style tents all over the Midbar, and this was a daily thing that Avraham Avinu had set up. That people would come from all over the world, all walks of life, and he would give them water, he would give them food, and he would give them shelter, and he would heal them, or whatever they needed. Right? And then he would say, and when they would thank Avraham Avinu, they would say, thank you. He would say, don't thank me. Thank the Creator. And then it was a whole conversation about what Creator, and that's how Avraham Avinu would bring people under the kanfash, under the wings of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and bring them to monotheism. Right? But he was a Baal Chesed like no other. He did this for the Chesed, helping people. None of that is mentioned anywhere. Number one, this is all in commentaries. None of it is mentioned. It's hinted different places. It's all commentary. We get nothing from those. Nothing. And these were real people with real problems that needed water, they needed food, they needed shelter, they needed heating, they needed healing. We get nothing from it. There's no Sukkot, there's no Ananei Kavod, there's no Be'era Shel Miriam, nothing. Out comes 3 angels that don't even have hunger, they don't need food, they don't need water, nothing. Avraham Avinu serves them. We get Sukkot, we get Pesach, we get Be'era Shel Miriam, we get everything from this one instance of him doing chesed for people or things that don't even need the chesed. And we get nothing from thousands of other opportunities that Avraham had, and he aced them all with people that really needed help. Mamash, imagine, have you ever been in a desert? There is no it's a death valley. I really tried to imagine this. Last time I was in Eretz Israel, I was in one of the deserts. It's beautiful, it's magnificent. You see, I'm telling you, you look at a vast desert with nothing in front of you, at least for me. I looked at a vast desert with nothing in front of me. I saw the Gevurah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I was at awe. In a sense, it's scary. And in another sense, beautiful. But it's like, Mamash, you see nothing. And I was thinking to myself, as I was standing there with my group, I was like, give me some water, please. I was thinking, imagine having to just walk, and there's nothing there. You know what I mean? Right now, we're in a park. When I get to the main street, we go 100 steps? We're in the main street. Imagine not, thank you so much. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shehakol nihya b'dvaro. Imagine not being able to have that. Right? So Avraham Avinu served thousands of people that really needed the help. Either they were lost or whatever. We get nothing from those. 3 angels that didn't really need it, everything. Why? What was so different about this instance? It's what we just learned. Lefum tzara agra. Avraham Avinu was in pain. He served the angels when he was in pain on the 3rd day of his Brit Milah. This was the hardest time for him to do this. The hardest time for him to serve anyone, to help anyone. He was in pain himself, and he still did it. Look at the reward. We get Pesach, we get Sukkot, Ananei Kavod, the clouds of glory that helped Bnei Israel in the Midbar all those years. Be'era Shel Miriam, the Mayim, the water that we got in the desert, all in the zechut of what? One mitzvah that Avraham Avinu did for angels that didn't even need it. They didn't need food, they didn't even eat, they didn't even drink. But that didn't matter. It was the kavanah. He was in so much pain and he said, I have an opportunity for chesed, I'm going to do it. All those times that he did the chesed for people that actually needed it, he got the sachar for it. But the greatest sachar came when there was a challenge for him to do the mitzvah. Lefum tzara agra. When it gets really, really hard, just tell yourself, this is when it really counts. I might have done this mitzvah 1,000 times, but now it's getting really difficult. This means this is the one that counts. You won't regret it. That's how we work. That's how Kadosh Baruch Hu sees sincerity. We get mitzvot, Baruch Hashem, we live in comfort. But once in a while, when it gets just a little bit difficult, don't give up. Just have the idea behind your mind. You know what? This is what's going to change everything for me, for generations to come. It could mean I'm planting zechuyot for 10 generations to come. Avraham Avinu planted those zechuyot. How many years after that was Yetziat Mitzrayim? Until today we have Pesach. Why? Why? Because he said, "Va'ikcha pat lechem." Please take some bread. Because he offered bread to the angels. Never underestimate a mitzvah that comes with a challenge. Never. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.